You know, there's nothing quite like a good nap, especially as we get a little older. That feeling of closing your eyes for just a few minutes and waking up feeling refreshed. It's like a little gift you give yourself in the middle of the day. But here's something you might not have realized. Naps can be a double-edged sword. After 70, they can either help your mind stay sharp or, if done the wrong way, leave you feeling even more tired. Or worse, affect your memory and focus. Now, I know what you might be thinking. How can something as simple as a nap be bad for me? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Because here's the good news. When you nap the right way, it can actually boost your brain power, improve your mood, and even help you stay more alert throughout the day. But the key is knowing how to do it. So, in this video, we're going to walk through some simple, practical tips to make sure your naps are working for you, not against you. We'll cover how long your nap should be, the best time of day to rest, and even a few surprising things you might be doing that could be sabotaging your sleep. Let's start with the first big question. How long should a nap really be? You might think that the longer you sleep, the better you'll feel, but that's not always the case. In fact, one of the biggest mistakes people make is napping for too long. If you've ever woken up from a nap feeling groggy or even more tired than before, it's probably because you slept too deeply. Experts say that the sweet spot for a nap is somewhere between 10 and 30 minutes. That's just enough time to rest your mind and recharge your body without slipping into deep sleep. Think of it like pressing the pause button. You're giving yourself a quick break, not a full reset. And the best part? A short nap like this can actually improve your memory and focus, something we all want to keep sharp as we age. Now you might be wondering, what if I just can't wake up after 30 minutes? That's a great question, and it brings us to our next point. Timing. If you're someone who tends to fall into a deep sleep quickly, try setting a gentle alarm. You don't need anything jarring, just a soft reminder to bring you back. And if you find yourself consistently needing longer naps, that might be a sign that you're not getting enough sleep at night, which is something we'll touch on a little later. The other key factor is when you nap. You might feel that mid-afternoon slump creeping in after lunch. And that's actually the perfect time to rest. Our bodies are naturally wired for a little downtime in the early afternoon. It's why so many cultures have a tradition of a siesta. But try to avoid napping too late in the day. If you nap after 3 or 4 p.m., it can interfere with your nighttime sleep, leaving you tossing and turning when you should be getting deep, restorative rest. So, to recap, keep your naps short. Aim for that early afternoon window and listen to your body. If you're waking up feeling refreshed, you're on the right track. But if you're struggling with grogginess or finding it hard to sleep at night, those are clues that something might need adjusting. Now let's talk about something just as important as the nap itself. What you do before you close your eyes. Because there's a simple habit that can make all the difference in how you feel when you wake up. You've probably heard the saying, "You are what you eat." But did you know that what you eat, and even what you drink, can have a big impact on how well you nap? That's right. What you put into your body before you rest can either set you up for a refreshing break or leave you feeling sluggish and restless. Let's start with caffeine. Now, I know many of us enjoy a nice cup of coffee in the morning, or even in the early afternoon. But here's the thing. Caffeine can stay in your system for hours. So if you're sipping coffee or even strong tea too close to nap time, it might keep you from drifting off or make your nap less restful. Try to cut off caffeine at least 4 to 6 hours before you plan to nap. If you still want a warm drink, opt for herbal tea or even just a glass of water. Staying hydrated helps your body function better overall, and that includes how well you rest. And speaking of hydration, let's talk about alcohol. Some folks think a small drink might help them relax, but alcohol actually disrupts the quality of your sleep, even if it's just a short nap. It might make you drowsy at first, but it interferes with deep, restorative rest. So if you're serious about making your naps work for you, save that glass of wine for the evening. Or better yet, enjoy it earlier in the day, if you really want to. Now, what about food? A heavy meal right before a nap can leave you feeling bloated or uncomfortable, making it harder to relax. On the other hand, going to sleep on an empty stomach might leave you distracted by hunger pangs. The key is balance. If you're planning a nap after lunch, try to keep the meal light and easy to digest. Foods like lean protein, vegetables, or a small portion of whole grains can give you steady energy without weighing you down. But here's something you might not expect. Where you nap matters just as much as when and how. You might be tempted to just lean back in your favorite recliner or stretch out on the couch. And that's fine if it works for you. But if you find yourself waking up with a stiff neck or a sore back, it might be worth rethinking your setup. Ideally, you want to nap in a place where your body can fully relax. If possible, lie down flat in bed or on a supportive surface. If you're somewhere you can't lie down, try propping up your neck with a small pillow to avoid strain. And let's talk about light and noise. You might think you can nap anywhere, anytime, but your surroundings play a big role in how restful your nap will be. Bright light tells your brain it's time to be awake, so if possible, try to dim the lights or close the curtains. If outside noise is an issue, a white noise machine or even a quiet fan can help block out distractions. Some people even find that a short guided meditation or soft music helps them relax before a nap. Now, here's a question I get a lot. What if I just don't feel like napping? That's perfectly okay. Napping isn't a requirement. It's a tool. If you're someone who wakes up feeling great in the morning and stays energized all day, you might not need a nap at all. But if you do find yourself dragging in the afternoon, especially after a poor night's sleep, a well-timed nap can be a game changer. And that brings us to the next big piece of the puzzle: how your nighttime sleep affects your naps. Because if you're relying on naps to make up for lost sleep at night, that could be part of the problem. You know, when it comes to sleep, whether it's at night or during a quick nap, it's all connected. If you're not sleeping well at night, you might find yourself depending too much on daytime naps, and that can create a cycle that's hard to break. So, let's talk about how to make sure your nighttime sleep is working with your naps, not against them. First, think about your bedtime routine. Just like a nap, the quality of your nighttime sleep depends on what you do leading up to it. If you're watching TV right up until you turn off the lights or scrolling through your phone in bed, the blue light from those screens can trick your brain into thinking it's still daytime. Try to wind down at least an hour before bed with something calming, reading a book, listening to soft music, or even just sitting quietly with a cup of caffeine-free tea. And here's something else to consider. Consistency matters. Our bodies love routine, especially when it comes to sleep. Going to bed and waking up around the same time every day, yes, even on weekends, helps regulate your internal clock. That makes it easier to fall asleep at night and wake up feeling refreshed. If you find yourself needing long naps during the day, ask yourself, am I giving myself enough time to sleep at night? Most adults, even as we age, still need around 7 to 8 hours of sleep. If you're consistently getting less than that, it's no wonder you're reaching for that afternoon nap. Now, let's talk about one of the most surprising nap tips of all: the coffee nap. Sounds strange, right? But some research suggests that drinking a small cup of coffee right before a short nap can actually help you wake up feeling even more alert. Here's how it works. Caffeine takes about 20 to 30 minutes to kick in, so if you drink it and then immediately take a 20-minute nap, you'll wake up just as the caffeine starts to take effect. It's not for everyone, but if you're someone who enjoys coffee and struggles with grogginess after napping, it might be worth a try. Finally, let's remember that napping isn't just about physical rest. It's about mental rest too. Stress and worry can make it hard to relax, whether it's nighttime or midday. If your mind tends to race when you lie down, try a simple breathing exercise. Inhale slowly for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4. Repeating that a few times can signal to your body that it's time to unwind. So, let's bring it all together. Napping after 70 can be a wonderful way to recharge, but only if you do it right. Keep your naps short, time them well, and pay attention to what you eat, drink, and do before you rest. Make sure your nighttime sleep is solid, and don't be afraid to experiment to find what works best for you. At the end of the day, the goal isn't just to nap, it's to feel your best, stay sharp, and enjoy every moment. Small changes really can make a big difference, and I hope these tips help you find that perfect balance. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Do you nap regularly? Have you noticed what helps or hurts your rest? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tips on living well at any age. Here's to great sleep, great energy, and making the most of every day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.